Hey, my friends, it's Katie, and I am hopping in here to do our training on marketing stories, just like I promised you yesterday. Really excited to be able to share some things with you that I hope will help turn up your marketing efforts on social media. What we're talking about today can be used with organic or paid marketing, and it's the different kinds of stories, some of the different kinds of stories that you can use in this. And so the way that I set this up is I basically have 4 topics that we talk about all the time, and it's something that I can teach in 5 minutes, in 5 hours, in 5 days, in 5 months. I'm always teaching these same topics, and those are Christian mindset for business, marketing tactics, standards, program development, your offer, your program, client experience, right? The people part of the team that you lead and of the audience that you serve. And so those 4 topics are my 4 topics that I talk about all the time. And if you've noticed in this Facebook group, we kind of rotate through them every month. Week 1, we usually talk about mindset. Week 2, we usually talk about marketing. Week 3, we usually talk about programs. Week 4, we usually talk about your people, your audience, your team. And so while we talk about those 4, there's lots of different things that we can do within them to be able to create authority, connection, interest, desire for the things that we serve. And so that's what we're diving into today. But first, if you're watching this by replay, please let me know. And if you're watching it live, let me know where you're watching from. And then as we go through this, any questions you have that come up, any comments, if something sounds like you, if you get an aha, like comment down below so that we know that this is serving you. That's what we want to do here, is be able to serve you and help you do a better job at what God has called you to do. So some of the things that I want to talk about in stories, I'm not talking about like making up stories or telling lies. That's not at all what we do here. We are all about telling the truth stories of what God has done or wants to do for other people through our business. And I think I'm just going to take my glasses off because they're glaring. So what God wants to do for other people or has done for other people through our business. And so as we're looking at what stories can we incorporate, if you're like me, we can tell the facts all day long, right? We sell these kind of programs or these kind of products, and these are the details of it. People don't care so much about the details. They don't need to know how many times they have to use this or how many modules you have with how many hours of video. What they want to know is how their life is going to be different. The best way to communicate how their life is going to be different is through telling stories of you and your transformation, stories of the people that you have helped, stories of your customers or clients who have used this particular thing and the results that they got in their business. That's what inspires them, gives them hope, helps them see themselves in those stories and be able to know that this is something that could also work for them. So as we're going through this, we want to think about the different kinds of stories that we can incorporate into our marketing, either organic, meaning you're not paying for it, or your paid advertising. And so one of those is an authority story. This is something that's like why you're qualified to help them get this result. What makes you the one that they need to look to for this? That authority could come through your training. It could come through the people that you know, your connections, the people that you're close to. It could come through stages that you've spoken on. It could come through people who have endorsed you in some way. You see my book sitting back here. I have endorsements in there from Matt Tommy, who is a business coach for Christian creative artists specifically. I've got an endorsement in there from Dan Miller, who has written I don't know how many books and is one of the bigger mentors of the Christian business space. And so endorsements is a great way for you to show authority in your posts. These are the people I learn from, or these are the people that I work with and collaborate with. That gives you an authority in your space. Another one that you can use, and with all of these, be sure you're doing a call to action, right? It doesn't have to be a sell every time, but a call to action. What do you want them to do next at the end of your post? So join my email list, comment down below, do something to get them engaging with us, tell them what you want them to do. The next story is a personal win story. And this could be, like I just did a video this morning that we're putting up on our shorts this week. I used to pray for days like this. My husband and I are in Charleston this week on a business trip, but we were able to add 2 days on at the beginning to take care of business in the morning and go do some sightseeing and have some fun in the afternoon, just spending time together. And we used to pray for days like this. There were days when we couldn't even dream of traveling to a business event. We had to do whatever we could do at home because the resources just were not there at that time. And look at what God has done to bless us to the point that our kids are being everything taken care of so that we have the time to come and spend together, get to know one another better, even after 20 years of marriage, and enjoy this event of serving the people that we're going to meet, of learning new things. It's just amazing. So that's a personal win story that I would be able to use. And it wouldn't be that I was here today if I had not learned what God had taught me to grow my business, which I now get the privilege of teaching to other people. And so that's a personal win story that I can share that creates interest. It shows some authority, shows some experience, right? And is a personal win in my business. Another one is a value. What do you know, right? You've heard that people don't care who you are until they know how you can help them, right? What do you know? What's a piece of value that you can give? This video is a piece of value for us because I'm giving you different kinds of stories to use in your marketing to get attention, to get traction, to build connection with your people. And I've got 7 of them that I'm going to go through here really quickly with you today. And so give them some value, teach them something about what you know, and then give them a call to action at the end. Like at the end of this video, I'm going to invite you to our 3-day event. In June 1 to 3, we're hosting a Christian marketing retreat, all virtual, all online, where we're going to be able to go deeper into a lot of these marketing ideas that I've been teaching here in little snippets. And if you think that this little 10-minute video is good, you're going to love spending 3 days with us and learning from the teaching and the breakout session and the application where we're actually doing the work together to be able to up-level what you're doing in your marketing of your business. And so then the next one is going to be belief shifting, a belief shifting post. And this is one where you're making people kind of question what they believe. A lot of us have a lot of crappy beliefs in our head, excuse the language there, but like just stuff that shouldn't be there. We've been taught this, we've learned this, we've absorbed this from our culture, and it's not the truth. And we need to get rid of those beliefs, right? And so one thing that was a belief that I needed to shift for a lot of my clients is that my clients come into me a lot of times thinking they're the owner of their business. And my marketing includes a lot of, it's not your business, it's God's business, and He put you in charge of it. And as the CEO of God's business, then you are responsible. It is your job. It's your job description to take good care of your owner's business, to make sure that what the business does gives a good testimony and reflection on him, to make sure that you are meeting the owner's goals for this business, both revenue-wise, testimony-wise. You don't want to do anything that's going to ruin this business or you are out of a job, right? And so shifting that it's not my business, it's God's business that I get to manage and get to do the best job that I can for Him and for His glory. That's a belief shift. And that's something that you see in a lot of our marketing is trying to get folks from, it's not your business. You're not selling you. You're selling what God can do for these people through the gifts and talents that He's given you and shifting that. The next one is a client win. And this is where you get to talk about what God has done for those clients, right? Because they can see themselves in the stories of the people that you're serving. I'm thinking right now of one of our clients who has been with us for about 2 or 3 years. And when she came to us, she was living in the States and with a desire to go and start a ministry in a country in South America. And I won't divulge those details, but long story short, she's been working with us for almost 3 years. In the midst of that, she and her husband were able to sell their home, move to South America, buy a home down there, and begin that business and that ministry. Her business is online, serving people from anywhere, so that the proceeds can go to help the ministry that she's creating down there, a dream that she had that came true. God wants to do big things with your dreams as well. And so sharing those client stories, those client wins in your marketing, not from a braggy way, all right? We're not boastful. This is not about the sinful pride that a lot of people think it is. You're just sharing what God has done through your business, the results that you've been able to help people get because of the gifts and talents God's entrusted to you, so that other people can be able to get what they need to do what God is calling them to do. And sharing those stories builds connection, it builds trust, it builds authority, and it helps your people to see themselves in the potential outcomes that you've been able to get for other clients. clients. It also lets them know that you're not just like aspiring to do this. You have been doing this, right? This is not my first rodeo. You won't be my first client. I've already worked with clients and they've gotten these results. And so I know I can do it for you as well. Another one is my story for his glory. I think these should be a part of every one of our stories. Not every time. It can be overdone, but I do think it's important. If your faith is a big part of who you are and who God made you to be in the marketplace, I think we need to be telling those stories. Tell your story for God's glory. Let people know what God has done in your life personally and professionally, and share that. And, your call to action on some of those posts could simply be, if you want to know how God could do this for you, reach out and let's chat, And then another one could be a positioning story. And this is where you're positioning yourself either as a colleague, you're positioning yourself as someone that works with certain people or has been asked by certain people to do things. It's another authority one, but it's also positioning. And so anytime that you get an opportunity to speak or you're speaking in someone's Facebook group, you're speaking at a church event, you're speaking in someone else's training, or you're speaking on a summit or on a podcast or anything like that, that is a positioning one where you're able to borrow the influence of the person that you're collaborating with to show that you know what you're talking about, to show your expertise, right? And so borrowing from their influence as they introduce you as the expert is another great way to position. So anytime you do any of that, if you have dinner with someone, like my husband and I here, we're just at dinner with 2 business colleagues last night. We were able to share that on our Facebook page, right? There was no huge call to action with that, but it is a positioning thing that does get attention and shows that these are the people that we hang out with, and their expertise then rubs off on our own reputation. All right. And, we don't do all of this simply for business advancement. I also want to say that, like, Tap and I would have had dinner with those folks, even if they weren't business colleagues, because we happen to like them. They are also friends, right? And so there's no dark side motivation here, but it is an honest and true way that you can use the daily happenings in your life and your business to be able to add to that authority and be able to get the attention of the people that God is trying to pull into your flamboyance, into your flock, and into your world. And so I hope that gives you some good ideas. And, I mentioned at the beginning our 4 topics that we talk about all the time in this group, in our paid course, in our 3-day live event, our mindset marketing programs, and people. And so when I map this out, I'm able to say, okay, mindset, here's those 7 posts for mindset. Marketing, here's 7 posts for marketing. And be able to say an authority post for marketing, a personal win post for marketing, a positioning story for marketing, right? And map all that out. And then I get to create those and just go and schedule them. And it makes things super, super easy. So I hope that helps you in thinking about your own marketing. If you've got questions, leave them for me. If you want more of this, we've got 3 days coming up together. The Christian Marketing Retreat, June 1 to 3. I told you I was going to tell you about it. The flamingoadvantage.com/retreat is where you want to go to get your ticket. It's $97 to spend 3 days of training, going deeper into this, getting your questions answered, getting to put it into practice. We actually have breakout times and work times for you to be able to actually do the work while you're at this event to up-level your marketing for greater impact and results. And I hope that we'll be able to see you there. It's called a retreat because that's what our people started calling it, because there is a lot of a Christian renewal aspect to it, thinking about your business and your marketing the way that God does, so that you have greater confidence and greater freedom to go out and make the impact He wants to make through you in the world. So the flamingoadvantage.com/retreat is where it's at. The dates are June 1 to 3. It'll happen from about 10 in the morning to 5 or 7 at night. Our second night goes a little bit longer, but we would love to have you there with us. If you've got any questions about that, reach out and we'll be happy to answer them for you. Excited to see those of you that will be spending that time with us. All right, you guys, have a wonderful week. Let me know how these stories work out for you in your marketing this week. I can't wait to hear. God bless you. We'll talk soon.